Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast, Thought and Perspective. And I have a gentleman here that, well, let me introduce him this way. He is the only person, the only man in Southeast Minnesota that likely, I'll even go as far to say in Minnesota, entire state of Minnesota.
Wow, this is really big.
That has better hair than I do.
Oh, I thought you were building up to something really big, but
Let me welcome
100 hold.
Ken. Introduce yourself, Ken.
Ken Quattrin with Two Rivers Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
And there's several other titles, but I think we'll be talking about Habitat. But there's so many different hats and balls
we'll be juggling. It's the season where a lot of good things need to start happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about some of those good things last year, and because last year was a tough year,
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have some positive things to say about even Toys for Tots tonight,
Mm-hmm.
some of that. So the audience, hopefully you'll send us some questions, because we like questions when we're live, right?
Yeah.
Because nothing like being put on the spot.
I'm used to it. I used to be in news. Well, I still am.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe we'll talk about some TV stuff even. This is going to be a fun night.
We could talk about Betsy's favorite meal. We could talk about what goes on behind the scenes and all the politics that goes on in a newsroom.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, man.
Politics behind the scenes. Ooh, spicy.
Yeah.
No, let's not go there.
We could.
Well, it depends. You want to do the news, the weather again or not? That might be. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Let's I want to say this. I don't talk a lot about what I support. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is I just don't need people to tell me, way to go, good job, right? So don't tell me that. But I've supported Toys for Tots 2006, I believe, is when I first came across them. And I was like super impressed with what they do. We talked to somebody on the phone just a few minutes before we went that's involved with Toys for Tots. He's the guy that got me like super
You can
pumped
say
about it. Big Mark Clark.
Big Mark Clark, man.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Big Mark.
Right. And so, he got me into it. I have supported it. I like to do those things, honestly, just kind of behind the scenes and anonymously. But since 2006, so I really appreciate what you do with them as well. We'll talk about that a little bit. Habitat for Humanity. You were rattling off some things when I was getting computer ready.
I could talk about Habitat forever.
All these, yeah.
I've been with the organization now for almost 2 years, and I just keep growing a bigger passion for our overall mission.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are enjoying and gravitating to Two Rivers Habitat, because there's so much positivity going on, and people are really thirsting positive news out there. They're just craving it, and we are delivering, and our volunteers are delivering.
That's really good, because without volunteers, things just wouldn't work with that.
No, volunteers are the backbone for any Habitat affiliate, not just Two Rivers. And some people always ask me, what's Two Rivers? Well, so back in the day, many of you out there probably remember it as Rochester Area Habitat for Humanity.
Yes.
So that started back in 1990. Now, what happened about 2 years ago, 2.5-ish years ago, is we merged with Steele and Waseca County. So where do we come up with the name Two Rivers? So the Straight River cuts through Owatonna. The Zumbro River cuts through Rochester. Those are the two major rivers through the two big cities that we work with. So we cover Waseca, Steele, Dodge, Olmsted, and Wabasha County. A lot of territory and a lot of need.
Nice. Let's get people involved here, right? Let's get some people asking some questions. Let's get them thinking a little bit along the lines. What are we going to tackle first?
We can talk about Two Rivers Habitat. I know it's not the spiciest topic, but again, I think people want to hear that there's great news going on in Owatonna. There's great news that's going on in Rochester, soon to be in Chatfield, and we can talk about Toys for Tots. We can talk about doing the weather. Whatever you want to talk about.
Well, let me say, let's start with this topic, the hair thing, right? I got to tell you about the hair thing, because I get the two main messages that I get, Ken. Like, my hair is always on point, right?
Okay.
Like you could go back to like teenage years, and I took care of my hair. I mean, it's never been as good as yours. Let's just be honest, but. It's been pretty good, right?
Okay.
And so I get messages all the time. They give me a hard time, right? Like, and so the other thing that people always want to talk about, Ken, is Bella. And Bella is the resident, mascot.
Yes.
And
Your dog's awesome.
Yeah. And she's been like loving it here for, well, she's 6 months old now. So not quite 6 months, but 4.5. Right. And if you hear her in the background, that's what she's doing. She's too big to pick up now, so I can't put her on camera very easy, but otherwise I'd do that.
Yeah.
So is it too early to talk about, like, I got a text here.
Let's get back to the hair.
They said,
let's get back to the hair.
We could go back to the hair. We could totally go back to the hair. They said, isn't it a little early to talk about Toys for Tots?
It's never too early to talk about Toys for Tots.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We had a summer campaign, I believe the first one that we've ever had, trying to raise $10,000. We started it like 2 months ago, just to keep it in people's minds, considering how much money we spent last year on Toys for Tots. With the challenge that we had, we spent a lot of money on Toys for Tots last year. And I believe, looking at my notes, we spent a little over $75,000 last year on toys. And we impacted more.
You would have had to buy toys then because of COVID.
Well, because
people didn't want to give them for that reason, or?
Well, we were basically challenged as an organization. We have a savings account. We had to tap into that because the demand was so huge. So yes, we were still taking donations in, but the organization still had to go out and go spend that kind of money. So last year we were able to distribute 23,447 toys to 8,494 children last year.
No way.
Yeah.
Say that again.
We were able to distribute 2,447 toys. And we were able to touch 8,494 kids with those toys.
In COVID year, the pandemic. That's fantastic.
That's just a record number.
That's fantastic.
So you can talk about Toys for Tots year round as far as I'm concerned, because you got to keep the momentum out there. You got to keep the word out there. And, we did that summer fundraising campaign. It was called Stuff the Stocking Stuffer or whatever it was. But
sure.
Every dollar counts. And lo and behold, before you know, the boxes will be rolled out at all of the stores starting November 1st. So, I mean, literally that's right around the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, we're middle September now?
Right.
So
can we call it end? I mean, we're the 23rd. I mean, it's end of September.
Yeah,
let's get rolling with some toys.
It's all flying by so fast, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Matt, but
no, it's great. I know.
Boxes,
my birthday's in September, and so I shouldn't, I should celebrate the entire month. So
the boxes will again be going out on November 1st, and they will be out of the stores by December 22nd. Okay. Big Mark will be doing plenty of live broadcasts for Laser and the Fox. We'll have the toy drop off at Fleet Farm, and we just have a lot of great opportunities for folks out there to be volunteers to help us, picking up the toys. And every dollar counts to help make sure that kids are blessed with a great Christmas, that they will have toys under the tree. So to me, it's never too early to talk about Toys for Tots.
Yeah, that's a good point. We've got another comment here, Ken. Let's go, guys.
Let's go.
Let's go. What do we need to do? What do we need to do to get, how can we start preparing?
You can go to the Toys for Tots Facebook page, or you go to Southeast MN Toys for Tots. That's the website. Sure. You can donate online. A lot of stuff that we do is a lot of the interactive stuff that I help build is on the Facebook platform.
Okay.
So if you go to the Southeast Minnesota Toys for Tots Facebook page, then you can let's go and learn more about what we will be doing as time gets closer. But you can just go to the homepage right now to learn more about the organization. All of those statistics I just reeled off, they're over there too. So we need you, whoever's listening, to be a part of Toys for Tots. I mean, could you imagine going downstairs on Christmas and not seeing any toys? I mean, considering what we were up against last year during COVID, we've never been able to give one child 3 toys before. We had so many toys because of people's donations, financial donations, and not just toys, but financial donations, and that money that we also spent internally. We were able to bless a lot of kids. And what's sad to say is we weren't able to bless a lot of kids. Some people filed too late to apply. And the need is just so big, we can't be everywhere at one time.
But Bella wants to get involved. Can you? I mean, can you believe that?
Get her a Toys for Tots scarf around her neck,
right? Can you believe? I don't know if the mics are picking it up or not, but can you believe she could literally step over that gate?
I know.
She's that good, right? She wants to be involved, but that gate's really low. She's big enough to step over it, but she's just like, "Let me in, please."
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Now, do you still want to get a dog?
It's up for discussion. Me and Betsy, we've been talking about whether we want a dog. We're cat lovers. Cats aren't high maintenance. You change the cat litter, throw them a pile of food, and just take off for a week.
Right.
And just have a friend come in and just check on them once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dogs are just, with our lifestyle that we have, we just couldn't pull it off right now. But if we did, I'd want a husky, a Siberian husky. That's what I grew up with. We had Cappy, and we had Bandit, and we had Tasha. So
nice. Wow.
Just
not just
awesome
one.
dogs.
You had experience.
Bandit was so cool. Have you? Okay, I'm going to really age you and date you right now.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first photograph of Paul Stanley in his makeup?
You actually don't say. You don't say, "Do you know this?" You actually say, "Do I remember?"
Do you remember the first photograph of Paul Stanley ever in Kiss makeup? He was.
I do. Yes.
He was not the Star Child.
Yes.
He was actually the Bandit.
The Bandit. Yes. Yes.
Bandit's dogs markings looked exactly like that.
Really.
So that's why we gave that name. So
yeah,
and I'm impressed that you actually do know that, because most Kiss fans don't realize that he didn't start off with that star. He had the triangles for the Bandit.
Yep. I actually have one
Norm.
of those weird. Right. Yeah. I have one of those weird memories that I can recall a lot of things if there's just a little bit of a trigger to help me do that. But it's kind of weird after my daughter's crash and we lost her. There's certain things that I just can't even bring back. Like, it's really weird. But a lot of things, it's still the same thing. But I didn't mean to. I wasn't sidebar. I was just talking about.
No, I'm glad you brought this up, because I brought this up privately with you.
Yes,
and I think we're in a place where we are together where I remember that day exactly like that. Part of my life will probably never ever leave, because I was in the newsroom when that happened at Channel 6. I heard it come over the scanner, and you know how it is when it's breaking news. You send the crews out there as fast as you can, and I heard it come over the scanner. We heard that mail was en route, and our reporter's like one of the first ones there. And I just remember in the background, when you're in the newsroom, you hate to say this, but you hope to have the breaking news of the day.
Yeah.
This was one of those days where me and Betsy just paused and just prayed. We didn't know who was involved. When we heard school bus into car, we just separated ourselves from the news part of the world, and we just left the newsroom and we just prayed together. Didn't know who it was, and that's kind of where we're at today. Whenever we see Mail One fly by, we seriously just stop whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
And pray, because most likely, so I live in Casson, and when we see that helicopter pass by, my gut just drops, thinking not only of your daughter, but I'm thinking someone on Highway 14 has just got smashed into.
Yeah.
It's the deadliest road in our state. And I know that's not where it happened.
No,
but
it didn't.
Still,
but yes, it is.
I will never forget that day with what happened with your daughter.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate everything that you guys have done too, as advocates in that. I don't know if you were before that. I don't remember, because I wasn't involved in advocating for safe driving, but I know what you've done since, especially, of course, Betsy, and I really appreciate that. So yeah.
And we have educated our children now that they are now driving. Yeah. They know of your daughter's story, and they know, get the hell off your cell phone.
Right.
And there have been times lately, because of my job, I'm trying to catch myself, because Caden's he's now doing his driver's. He got his learner's permit. Yeah. And doggone it, the other day, I just had to get something for work. Yeah. And Caden goes, "Dad," I'm like,
"Yep,
my bad."
It's one
Lead
of those,
by example.
Yeah, totally. It's one of those things that you take for granted. You think that here. Let me put it like this. What it does is it develops a bad habit. Yeah. And I talk about this all the time in my distracted driving advocacy stuff. And I say, Deej had a stop sign moment. And what she did is she looked at her phone at a stop sign and said, "Oh, yep, I'm at a stop sign. Look at my phone, check it." And then she did it at 30 miles an hour, and I'll shorten the story. But, at that stop sign, she made the decision, and then it just became a bigger and more dangerous decision as she went along. And I think that's so common in life even, right?
Mm-hmm.
We think that this small decision is going to be harmless, but it creates a habit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do it in the wrong moments, and the tire is going to blow, or whatever is going to happen. And
I mean, even though that they've created the hands-off law,
Yeah.
that's done jack. It hasn't done anything. I'm just being
I
honest
agree.
because my job takes me to Owatonna a lot.
Mhm.
And until that's 4 lanes the whole way, I refuse to go on Highway 14 when I'm going out to Owatonna because you're just hitting side mirrors. You know what I mean? It's so tight.
I agree.
And I'm still seeing people on their phone as I'm going by at 60 miles an hour. So I just refuse to go on Highway 14 because I see so many people still holding their phones as they're driving. So I'm already nervous Nilly driving on a normal day. So I normally take East Rose Street in.
Sure.
I take all the back roads to get to Owatonna.
Yeah.
So
we could probably talk about some of those fun things all the time, but we've got some comments. Great organization. Thanks for all you do. What a great cause. We can do this. Appreciate that. That's one of the things too, being cheerleaders, that's important, isn't it?
Yeah. Excuse me. And that's, when people write those things, thank you very much. What I just encourage people is come be a part of Toys for Tots. Even if something as simple as go around collecting the toys, we also need help with people in the warehouse. That's where the magic happens. That's where we sort the toys for different age groups, different genders. That takes a long time. And right now, I believe we're still trying to find a place for our warehouse for this year. It moves from place to place every year because we normally ask for it to be donated. And it has to be a big space for our trucks to come pick stuff up and load things in. So I haven't heard from Big Mark if we have a warehouse yet, but I know they're still looking around.
Yeah.
But once time gets closer, that's where we need people to really dive in and help at the warehouse, do the sorting, picking up of the toys. I mean, we don't just service Rochester. I mean, we service Dodge County. We service all of Olmsted County. We do a little bit of Winona County, and I think we clip northern parts of Houston County.
Wow. That's what a footprint.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
A lot of tire wear and gas money.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just a great organization. And like I said, it would be just miserable if you woke up on Christmas morning and you had absolutely nothing under the tree. Well, that's where we try to step in and say, we got your back.
I got a text that they thanked us for being real with our conversation. So that's what it's about, right? It's about being real. I think there's too many people that are looking for that big news story, whether they're a journalist or not, right? Mm-hmm. They're looking for something that to create more hype than
and whether it's correct or not.
Exactly.
And that's there is no such thing as journalism anymore. It's all opinion. It's all rhetoric. And you try not to think that the local TV stations are that way. But there are certain biases even in local TV. And, me and Betsy, we prefer a certain way of writing that it should be both sides. If you can't show both sides of the story, you're not being a journalist. You're just spreading propaganda or trying to feed the agenda. So I still fill in at Channel 6 and I do part-time producing. And that's some of the challenges that I have is the scripts are written in such a way, they're angled one way and you try to fishhook it back at least somewhere back to center. And that's what Betsy tries to do too. If it's leaning one way or the other, it's like you have to try to show both sides of the argument. If you can't get a soundbite to show the other side, you have failed. You have not done a good day's work as a journalist.
I agree. And I've got to tell you a quick story, and it wasn't Betsy. I just want to say that right away. But there was, I did a presentation. They were at the presentation. They were at the whole presentation. So it wasn't like they took clips or anything like that. They were at the whole thing. Whether they paid attention or not, I don't know. But they were there the whole time. I was interviewed then after. And so, they asked the questions, I gave the answers, and then, they put the news piece together. And I'm like, that was not the question they asked when
it's
I
all
gave
chopped
the statement.
Up. Yeah.
And they would literally ask the question I would give the statement. Then in the newsroom, they would ask a different question and make it sound like my answer was completely not related to what they actually asked me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, at first I was on fire, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's not why I do this. I don't do this to fight the quote unquote journalists. So I just, okay, whatever.
Well, I mean, there's been so many cases of mainstream media showing the wrong video to a story that they're trying to pitch to you. And it's like, then they eventually get caught. And most of the time they don't do retractions at all.
Yeah. So I just decided I'm going to do my thing. I'll call them out on it. When I,
this is a really cool thing you have going on here, man.
Hey, thanks.
This is really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been years, a couple years in the making, and there's other plans that we've talked about that off camera. And I think that doing it live like this, I know that it's a little bit more, not for you, but for a lot of people, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking, of course, in things, which is understandable. But I think it's so important, because if you can't have that conversation in real time on some of these topics, it probably shouldn't be talked about. Because
there's that all the backdoor editing that goes on.
Yes.
And I've seen it, and it's not cool.
What's funny? They do it with me. Little peon me. They literally take clips. And it's funny. I wear a lot of the same clothes. By the way, does anybody like my new sweatshirt? I got a new clothing line. It's just a positive,
new clothing line.
It's legit, man. It's just launched literally.
So who's going to be your endorser?
What's that?
Who's going to endorse your clothing line? They always have some famous celebrity who thinks they know who thinks they know everything.
I'm not famous enough.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, I'm kidding. No, it's just it's a little thing in whatever. But I got so tired of that negativity that we see in a lot of, and when I experienced that many years ago, and this was probably about a year after Deej died, and I experienced that with a local, TV station. Again, it wasn't Betsy, but when I had that experience, that really opened my eyes. And if it's going to happen on this local level like this, what is it doing nationally?
Yeah.
What kind of fires are they trying to start?
Literally.
Right. And it's like, I just, so, I don't like it. I don't like, even on, frankly, the faith side of things, there's a lot of people that are super hyperbolic. They're trying to do it as a fight with the other side and things like that. So I just wanted to, so I came up with Shiny. I think we talked about this last time, just to have people look at it and be different, right? Try to be strong and be hope and be influential and be necessary and be you and do that in your way, right? And so the clothes is just another piece of that puzzle. And so
I think you're right too, that being positive, give hope. And when I'm trying to produce a newscast, I mean, you have to have the day's news in there. And you hate to say it, but it's true. If it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
But
no, I get that.
But on a local level, you can tell when I produce a show, because that last block is full of hope and something that'll make you laugh.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I remember my first news director when I was starting to do weather in Hagerstown, Maryland. He told me, Ken, you're doing the weather. You're in the news. Just always remember, you're here to entertain people.
Yes.
Be informative, but at the end of the day, you've been put in this position to entertain people. That was so influential in my career. And that's why I'm more laid back when I do the weather, because I know people want to be entertained. They want to know what to put on their kids' for the bus forecast, or the grill cast or whatever.
Yeah.
Have, give them the forecast, but man, have fun with it. Obviously when there's severe weather, you got to tighten up the screw a little bit, but have fun with your job. Who wants to watch vanilla all the time?
No, and that's not what I mean. I mean when they're going on and they're trying to create a fight.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm saying about the hope part and have fun.
Yes,
but yeah,
I get that.
I see what you're saying.
But what they do is they literally push a fight.
Yeah,
they're trying
fanning
to
the flames.
Yes, they're trying to get the other side to fight, and
it happens on both sides.
That's my point. It happens
Yes.
on both sides.
Yes.
And I'm so frustrated with it. And I don't watch the news. I read it, but I can't watch it. and whatever. I digress. But hey, we had a question that's important here too. Do we sign up on the website to help at the warehouse?
That's a really good question. I haven't seen the website in a while. There should be a volunteer button. I couldn't imagine that site doesn't have a volunteer button.
Okay.
And I think a form should pop up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a while since I've been on there, so I don't want to mislead anyone on that. So, but
It-
at least snoop around on the page. You should be able to find something.
Yeah.
And as time gets closer, the page will be updated with newer information. But then as we get towards November, that's when I'm following everybody around with video, shooting everything. And that's all on the Facebook page. So we should start ramping that up early to middle part of November.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. Let's talk about habitat a little bit. Well, can you believe, Ken, we're into this 25 minutes
Are
already.
you serious?
Yeah,
Holy
dude, this
cow.
is great.
And we're just scratching the surface.
I know. We should almost do it weekly, it feels like.
I
It's
could help you out with that.
Right.
Well, you initially called me here to talk about habitat.
I did.
With
I
all the
know.
rabbit trails we've gone down.
Exactly. Habitat, I can't remember exactly, but I believe I went and helped at a habitat house once. I haven't been involved with Habitat. I'll just be completely transparent. I haven't helped with Habitat much.
Shame on you.
I know, it's the truth. But I remember going and helping at a house, and this was quite a while ago, 10 plus years ago. And
We've built several since then.
for sure. But it was
Sorry.
very rewarding,
Mhm.
like truly. And I had kids were young, and I mean, whatever, no real excuses, but just busy.
And we get that with our volunteers, and we understand that. It's like my boss always tells me, family first, job second. I've never been in an environment like this before, working for Habitat. I'm always used to being on call, being in a newsroom, running around with your head cut off. It's nice to have a boss like mine that he trusts me to go out and do my thing. But when it comes to the volunteers are the backbone really to any nonprofit. But when it comes to building homes and getting people affordable housing, every volunteer goes through those different kinds of cycles, Matt, just like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 8 years, it's been 6 years, but now that things are quieting down, I want to come back. We also have the Rochester Carpentry Club. These are a bunch of retired guys. Most of them are from IBM. They love building homes. They probably don't want to be home and going shopping with their wives. They'd rather help build a house for families that need affordable housing.
Right.
Call it for what it is, man.
Right.
These guys are so super smart. They've built so many homes. And now that we've stopped building the homes in Rochester, they're like salivating for something to do. The volunteerism that we're seeing out in Owatonna with the 2 homes that we're building, it's mind blowing, because you get to see the community rally around the 2 homes that are being built, because the 2 families that will be moving into Owatonna, they get to start a whole new life. I mean, it's a reset button.
Yeah.
They're living in really challenging conditions with their current housing situation. They're bouncing from place to place to place, trying to find stable housing. Now they're going to grow roots in a very nice community. They're going to be welcomed in the community. Owatonna has a great school system. And what's great about the property in Owatonna on Lynn and Mosier, it's right near the ball field. It's near the trail system. It's right near Lake Colmeyer. I don't know if you've been to Lake Colmeyer. Oh my God, I love Lake Colmeyer.
I was there. I remember actually when I was in the furniture business a while back, and I remember I don't remember where they were from, but we met there. He wanted to go fishing, and I think that was the lake.
Yeah.
And we sat there and we did business. I don't like to fish, but it was fun.
Can't
And
stand
he
it.
brought his boat, and we sat there and we talked about business. And but yeah, so I do know where you're talking.
Yeah.
about.
So
I love it. It's a nice area.
You're right there. The kids can just run out and have a good time. Watch out for the train tracks. And then if they get hungry, Fairway Foods right down the street.
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, it's just a great location. So Owatonna has just been a blast working with those people out there. So what's a little bit closer to Rochester? So we'll be building twin homes side by side in Chatfield. The current property has an older home. We bought the property from the city. It was kind of a fire sale. Can you help us with this?
Yeah.
It needs a lot of love. So we had the Minnesota, not pollution control, but some kind of environmental group come through and say, yeah, you really can't add on to this house. You can't recycle it. It has the old plaster. It's got mold. It's got the old limestone foundation. So we're like, okay, well then we're just going to scrape it and we're going to build 2 homes side by side because that lot's so big. Instead of having a family just move into one home, we're doubling down.
Nice.
So, and also we're trying to find property in Rochester. So our families need affordable housing. It is. And I'll get to that in just one second. So our families are in need of affordable housing, but to build the house, we need the dirt. So we've been asking a lot of contractors out there. Maybe if you know someone right now that may be able to help us, we're looking for land. We're looking for a lot to help build a home here in Rochester. The need continues to grow. Do you know what the average median price of a new home here is? What it is here in Rochester? $325,000. In Owatonna, it's $315,000. If you're living check to check, there is no way, and you know where, that they could afford a house like that. I've talked with Carlin Nelson. I've talked to a lot of our political leaders. When you throw that number out there, it's just staggering. So that's why people come to us to try to get them affordable housing. So land is really an issue here in Rochester because just to get in is around $65,000 to $75,000 just for the dirt. Now there are some lots. I was on Zillow the other day. Some lots are going for like 30, 35, but those lots don't have water. They don't have sewer. They don't have natural gas. There is no way we could afford to really do anything on those properties. But we're hoping for some breakthroughs. If anyone's out there that could be trying to reach out to us, if you know someone that's a contractor or someone that owns land that would be willing to donate or at least do fair value, we're willing to pay for that too. So one of the challenges I have when I go out and talk with people is with Two Rivers Habitat for Humanity, they think we give these homes out for free. Not
I was going to ask
case.
that. Yeah,
not the case.
I know the answer, but
But for those that are watching for the first time, our homeowners, they have to put in a minimum of 200 hours of sweat equity to help build the home. Love your dog.
I know, Bella. It's okay.
It's okay, Bella.
You've got your toys over there. I mean, 6 months old. She's pretty good for 6 months.
Yeah. So our soon-to-be home buyers have to put in a minimum of 200 hours of sweat equity in the home, or they can do some work at the restore. And then they're given an affordable mortgage, just like me and you have a mortgage. It's just there's a little bit more affordable. We're able to utilize some USDA money, some grant money to help them with their mortgage. So, it's a great opportunity to really help a family that's struggling. And it's the same with Toys for Tots. The need just continues to grow and grow as people are struggling, not just through a pandemic. I mean, there was already this struggle in Southeast Minnesota way before a pandemic hit.
Yeah.
I've lived here since December of 98, and affordable housing continues to be a problem throughout our entire state.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything that hasn't changed that at all, whether it's Rochester, Owatonna, Albert Lea, Austin, Casson Manorville.
Yeah.
We built several homes there too.
Yeah. Good. Good. When you say 200 hours of sweat equity, what does that look like? I mean, there's people that, you're building houses. I think remodel, if I remember.
We do that too.
On occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So come on, 200 hours of sweat equity. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to do anything. What does that look like?
Doesn't matter. We'll teach you.
Yes.
We're going to tell you what today's lesson is. Today we're doing drywall. Here's how you do it.
Yeah.
We don't have the soon-to-be home buyer putting in the electrical and the plumbing and trusses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We sub that stuff out. But when we have the homeowner come, we do say, here's what you'll be working on today. And they log the hours. So the one homeowner on Lynn, he passed his 200 hours like 2 months ago. And that's pretty cool that he's that heavily invested in having that home. And the other lady coming into the home on Mosier, she's rapidly been catching up on her hours really, really fast. So it's good to see those things kind of happen again, whether they do it on the job site or whether they go volunteer at the restore and put in their hours there. They have that option too. So, and a lot of these families have just some amazing stories. Some are very uplifting, but then some are kind of tragic, and we're glad to be able to rescue them out of the situations that they're in. I mean, the one lady up in Orinoco, call it for what it is. Her house has just got away from her. And do you remember last February on how cold it was? I mean, it was just brutal. It was like relentless cold.
Yeah.
I got a chance to do an interview with her at our set and our habitat set, and she just shared with me that it was so tough for her family during that time that they all slept in the living room because that was the warmest part of their house. She showed me photographs of the mold and the ice around the windows. Her kids were getting sick from the mold in her house. She was too ashamed to have her kids as friends over because the house, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, and we take all of these stories that we hear from our soon-to-be clients, our future home buyers, and there are some days where I'm glad I'm not on that committee that has to decide who gets what.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that she's now moving into a brand new home, and every homeowner that works with us, they know from the basement to the roof where everything is because they helped build it.
Yep. That's really impressive. That's brilliant. That's a good strategy. Mm-hmm. We've got Yo watching from the tennis courts. That could be anywhere. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
And then hey.
But tell us where.
Yeah, I know who this is, so it's most likely up in the Twin Cities.
Okay.
I won't, that area. I
okay.
Won't give away his location. But
we have habitat affiliates throughout the entire state. I mean, Minneapolis, close to home, Winona is their own affiliate. Fillmore County is their own standalone affiliate. Rice County is their own standalone. Goodhue's their own standalone. So, but we all commonly work together for the goal to make sure that people have affordable housing.
Can we talk about the store?
Talk about whatever you want, man.
Yeah, let's talk about the store.
That's why I'm here. So the Restore.
The store is awesome.
The Restore is just blasting it out of the water right now. I mean, we're talking record sales. They're putting up numbers they haven't seen since that thing opened 7 years ago. So I think, well, let's just put it this way. So with COVID, we were locked in our homes. And as that climate was continuing to fester and grow.
I wasn't locked in my home. I'm just going to throw that out there.
But a lot of people
were
getting rid of their stuff because they're tired of their stuff and they wanted new stuff.
Yeah,
so they donated everything to the Restore. And so the donations have been continuing to increase. The sales are just through the roof because of people wanting to do it-yourself projects. People are also realizing that money that's being raised at the Restore is not going to some CEO like Goodwill who's making millions of dollars or savers. Every dollar that we raise at the Restore is going into building affordable housing.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I mean, if you walk out, buying whatever, I mean, they have sofas, washer dryers, microwaves, all the tools you possibly could want, loose nuts and bolts, home decor. If you can't find it there today, it'll be there tomorrow. I mean, that's kind of what I tell the customers as they're coming and going, but you're shopping for a cause. You're donating for a cause. The CEO is not making millions of dollars here. Every dollar we're trying to raise at the Restore, we have to pay our employees, pay the gas and the heating, but overall the mission is the money's going to affordable housing.
Yeah, that is...
and I don't know if you've been there recently, but
not recently.
We've revamped everything. It looks like a brand new store. It's finally got all the habitat colors. National Fleet Graphics and Dodge Center. We're not worthy. We're not. They are just amazing people. They got us brand new signage. We got the outside of the building has been repainted. I mean, and we had the parking lot resurfaced. We got rid of all the potholes and all the lines. I mean, it looks legit.
That's fantastic.
So, and we are so transparent about our numbers too. They're out there. So the Restore normally cleared per year around 325, 340,000, somewhere in there. Because of how we have changed the structure with on how we do a lot of the things inside of the store, the marketing, the social media. I mean, we're just destroying it on social media right now on the Rochester Area Restore Facebook page, just ripping it up. The last fiscal year, $543,000.
Oh, sick. I love it.
So at the end of the day, you have to then reevaluate per square foot. Are we starting to max out our space at the Restore? So then you kind of just have those discussions. If we do 650 or 700,000 this next fiscal year, which is very possible with the numbers we're cranking out right now, that's a lot of money for a Restore. Think about it. I mean, you're getting like bathroom vanities. If you go online or if you walk into like a Home Depot, they're like $1,500. You go into the Restore, they're at least half off.
Yeah.
I mean, Lowe's over in Owatonna, they donated a brand new, still in the box vanity that retailed for $1,200. We put it on the sales floor for $600, posted on Facebook, and it was gone in 20 minutes. But you really sometimes see some really odd things at the Restore too.
Really?
So we go from beautiful bathroom vanities to, we had a chicken plucker come in.
A chicken
You grew up on a
plucker.
farm, right?
I didn't.
I thought
No.
you did.
No,
But
I
anyway,
didn't.
so the guy comes in and he donates a chicken plucker. I'm like, how the heck does this thing work? There's a drum. It's got knobs on it.
Yeah.
It's got the little on switch and you pull the thing to get the motor going. So I had to go on YouTube to figure out what the heck is a chicken plucker. So I went online. Oh, it was gone in 15 minutes.
No way.
Well, that's kind of the new
I was
thing.
thinking
is
about getting chickens.
People are having chickens in their backyard
Yeah.
now to get the fresh eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I went on YouTube and I showed the manager what this thing actually does. The drum goes around and those nubs that are on the drum
Sure.
strip the feathers off the chicken as you hold it up like this. And
No.
and it just keeps beating it and all of the feathers come off.
That's brilliant.
So I told the store manager, I'm like, okay, no in-store demonstrations today. But yeah, so that was another thing. It was so odd. We posted on Facebook and it was gone in 15 minutes. I was running the cashier stand that day because we were so short on staff. They trust me to run the cashier booth. What the heck are they thinking? But anyway, so
you dealing with people
and money? What's going on? But anyway, so the thing rolled out, and then like a couple minutes later, 3 more people are walking and going, "Where's the chicken plucker? I want it."
No way.
So it's just those fun stories. I love going to the Restore and helping out on some free time that I have. You know,
what are the hours? Do you remember?
They're closed on Monday. They're open on Tuesday, but just for donations. But they're open Wednesday through Saturday. I think it's 9 to 6.
Okay. Yeah. I want to say it was a Wednesday through Saturday when I went to probably 3 years ago or something.
Yeah. So, you know, it's maybe down the road as we start to get more employees, if we can afford it, maybe we can tweak those hours a little bit. Cause I know people want to come in on Tuesday, but you got to keep in mind, we have to have staff, but more importantly, volunteers. Right. There's a lot of volunteers that come and work at the Restore. And if we don't have those volunteers, you don't have a Restore.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we have some paid staff. So we have the 2 guys that are in the Restore truck. You've probably seen it going around town.
Yep, absolutely.
But that Restore truck has been getting a lot of tire wear and gas money going out to Owatonna because of our growth out there. We're now seeing a boatload of donations. I mean, our Restore truck is booked 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, the volunteers are the backbone to our organization, whether it's building a home or it's at the Restore. And that's why we tell people, even if you aren't in the trades and you don't know how to come onto the job site, we'll teach you how to do it. If you don't want to do that, go to the Restore.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Let's wrap up.
Do we?
I think we wrap up.
Okay.
We're getting we're getting about 45 minutes.
Okay.
That seems to be the place.
Is that the sweet spot?
We just need to do this soon again.
Okay.
And that sound all right?
Absolutely.
Cool. You know where I am, so
yeah. I think most people now know where I am.
Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate what you do. You know, there's something to the passion of helping people do these kinds of things. And I know that when you get there's no doubt you see a lot of the negative part of it with the way this has negatively affected families. And that's why they're in this position for Habitat. But then you get to see the reward on the other side. And so that's fantastic. I appreciate that.
And that's what drives me to get out of bed every day, knowing that you're making a difference with a family that is in desperate need of not just an affordable house, but of a lifestyle change.
Maybe you can help me with this saying. I was just thinking about it. There's a saying that goes, there are people who fight, I think. There are people who support those who fight, and there are people who do nothing. Basically 3 types of people. And you're out there fighting every day to help these people just, I think you worded it reset, hit that reset button for them.
God has given them a reset button right now.
Yes.
And that's what I shared with the lady from Orinoco who's moving to Owatonna, because she shared with me all of her hurts, all of her pain, the suffering she's had with her kids and the current place that she was in. I said, look, I'm not here to push faith on you. I am a faith spirited man, but God is truly right now giving you a reset button with this opportunity to start your life all over again.
Totally.
How could you not be happy going to work doing that every day, knowing that you're being able to do those things, you know?
Yeah. And I like that you give the opportunity to have that conversation, but you don't force that conversation too. And that's not our job. It's the Spirit's job.
It truly is, because when me and Betsy, when we first started dating, she was trying to cram religion down my throat.
Yeah.
And it got her absolutely nowhere. And eventually the Holy Spirit just said, back off, let him figure it out. And I eventually, 13 years ago, I figured it out, you know, but I'm not here to force it. But, you know, Habitat for Humanity, we are a Christian organization.
Yeah.
Some people don't know that either.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a great opportunity to be a witness of hope.
Absolutely.
Mercy, God's love.
Yes.
You know, it's no coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences.
I don't either.
There's no coincidence why you're getting this house.
Right.
There's no coincidence that you have been chosen by the family selection committee.
Right.
This is all a God thing.
Providence.
That's in New England.
So probably.
Sorry.
No, totally. I think that people don't understand the providence that God, what he does to orchestrate things to happen. It doesn't force them to happen, but gives us a left and a right and a straight, and we get to choose what to do with that. So,
and you know, I think even when I'm at the Restore, Matt, I love planting seeds with people.
Yeah,
because I know eventually I'll see the fruit later, but never give up on that opportunity to plant a seed with someone about faith and the importance of having faith. And that's what I tell my boss. My boss is like, well, what happened with this potential sponsorship, you know, for Hops for Habitat or whatever. I said, you know what? Seed's been planted. I'll keep watering it. God will put on some Miracle Grow and up it'll come.
Right.
Just got to be patient.
And sometimes it takes a little bit of time for that to grow. Years, like, but no, it's not up to us.
No, it truly is on God's timing.
Yeah.
We think it's all on our timing.
Yeah.
And I've beaten my head so many times on tables and walls, like now. But at the end of the day, I've realized it truly is on God's time. You just have to be very patient with it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, Toys for Tots, what's a website where they can?
Southeast, SEMN, Toys for Tots. And then again on the Facebook page.
Yep. And
then for Two Rivers Habitat, TWO, tworivershabitat.org.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, Ken, thanks for being here. Let's do this again a lot sooner than we did before.
Yeah. This is fun. It truly is because,
and it's,
you know, I see some of the stuff that you put on Facebook. Oh, I'm honest. I've made so many mistakes in my lifetime. We're in the same boat, bro. You know what I mean? It's just like, just get it out and just be honest and be
had somebody send me a message. Well, what's the list of things, you know, that you're talking about? I'm like, it's too dang long.
I might get censored on Facebook for being honest.
Yeah. I just can say that it's a long list. So yeah.
And
I think that's so important. I don't think that we have to list out our faults and what the learning curves that we've had. But I think that it's definitely important to always be open and honest about, hey, I have really screwed up here. You need to go to the people one-on-one or whatever, of course, but I think that it's really important to just acknowledge that I do have a lot of faults, and I really appreciate the people that put up with those.
Yeah.
And I think that if we're willing, we can all learn from them instead of having them bury us.
You know, and considering all the crap that I did back in the day, I know God still loves me, but you can still go back and kind of laugh at it.
Yeah.
And I kind of, you know, I was talking with Betsy about this stuff because, you know, here's our boys, 15 and 17. And I did a lot of dumb stuff too when I was in high school, and I really acted really dumb in college. Who didn't? I mean, come on.
Let's be honest.
Come on. I know you did too. And I thought all that stupidity from back in the day would brace me to be able to watch my kids and make sure they didn't do the same crap that I did. Doggone it. I got bit so bad by our oldest. I won't get into it, but didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And luckily our youngest is learning from the oldest, but I'm like, gosh, I did this almost the same exact thing. But kids nowadays, they got this thing going on
sure.
where they can hide it a lot easier. I mean,
let me tell you a quick
tough.
story. My daughter was on my Friday morning podcast a few weeks ago, and she lives in South Carolina. So she came up and I said, hey, when you're here, you're going to be here on this particular Friday. What do you say coming on the podcast? Let's do this. And she's like, absolutely. And she said, do I have to censor what I say? She didn't say it quite like that, but I said, no, let's have people ask you questions. It's great. We're going to do it live. Absolutely 100% say whatever you want to say. It was very honoring to me. And I thought there might be some times that are like, yeesh, how are we going to handle this one? Right.
Yep.
And she was very honest, and I really appreciated that. And she did say there were, some of the things that were negative in growing up and things that I did and how I handled certain things. And it was really good. But the point I'm making is that we do have to love them through those seasons of being teenagers, and we do it the best we can, even though we miserably fail, and we think we do at least. Mm-hmm. But we have to give them that space to do that too, and we really, really pray hard that they don't get seriously hurt.
So we're just going through a really rough time with Connor, our oldest, and it's just been quite a burden on our soul and our spirit. And it gets to a point where there's only so much you can do as a parent.
Yeah.
You give them grace, love, and mercy and respect. And eventually all that trust is gone, and you try to reach out to get a third party involved because there's only so much me and Betsy can do.
Absolutely.
So we reached out to a counselor.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything. And then when we figured out what all was going on collectively, it's like, you know what? We have done everything that we can as a parent to help you. Sorry, there just has to be an alternative here for you to figure things out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not easy.
No. And it's devastating. I mean, it takes a toll on your spirit, and you want to pound your hand into the ground or pound your head into a wall. Like, how did I not see this? We should have saw the red flags. I mean, we talked to Sheriff Rose about certain things, and I'm like, we're just beyond our wits right now with our oldest one. But you know what? God is in the healing business.
Yeah.
Every day continues to be in the healing business. He will take care of Connor, and he will heal our hearts.
Yeah.
Once you get past the anger part of it, you get past then the deception, the treachery of it, the acceptance of false praise.
Yeah. There's a thing, and I actually just recently talked to her about this too after the podcast. I mean, just like a handful of days ago. And I said there's such a difference between tolerance and acceptance. Like, you accept things, but you don't tolerate them, right? You accept that they're in a place of well, let's just call it not understanding the way the world works, maybe. But you accept them, but you don't tolerate the wrong things that are done. You don't tolerate that they're disrespectful to you or to Betsy. You don't tolerate those things. You have to draw that line, but you do it with arms wide open, and you do it as respectfully as you can. But I think that what I see in all my kids are adults now. It's hard to believe, isn't it? There's so I'm so honored by that. They honor me by that. Like, in I wasn't a perfect father by any means, right? Mm-hmm. But yet they have seen my imperfections, but that I was doing that still through love and the best that I knew how, right? So it will get there, is what I'm saying.
You can read all the books that you want. We're all wired differently, and a book is not the answer.
Right.
Getting help helps.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I mean,
for sure.
I highly am an advocate of getting counseling.
Yes.
You need
I
to get
agree.
an
I've talked
independent
about that a
third
lot on
party,
podcasts.
go in there and pull the crap out.
Yep.
And just drill down on it.
Yep.
What are your hangups? What are your issues that you're not telling mom and dad? What are you hiding from your mom and dad that you're not going to tell mom and dad? And we've just seen, not just our kids, but our circle of friends have just seen how brutal it is. So freaking brutal in the school system, how these kids treat one another. And it's the elephant that's in the room. They have the anti-bullying programs. I don't see it really working.
I don't even want to talk about that right now.
I know. I'm just saying. There's
and I don't mean that as a disrespect thing. I mean that would take us half the night, because I've been in a few hundred schools doing my thing, and my opinion, I'll just say it like this: anti anything doesn't work. Pro helping people to deal with things, in my opinion, is where we need to be. Right. So the pro helping a victim not be a victim is the point. And that is the only way through anything, in my opinion. That is my opinion.
Yep.
Right.
That's why
but I've been through some stuff.
Yes, I know.
You know,
but just to come back one more time
yes.
about the importance of counseling and how it's helped me.
Yes.
At my former job, I just took the verbal abuse because I was in sales, and I know that's just sell to make the dollar, but there's a way to do it. And I was becoming just verbally abused and just not treated well. And it takes an emotional toll on you.
Yeah.
And eventually I then put myself into counseling because I was getting panic attacks, anxiety attacks. And I'm a Christian. I shouldn't have these things, but these are real world issues too. So eventually, after talking with our counselor, she's like, Ken, you can't have your tail between your legs. You should stand up for yourself. You have every right to, and this and that. And the most important thing she told me was don't suppress, because that makes it even worse, because it just kept building like the volcano is going to blow up. And when it blows up, it's going to get friggin' ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
So I have taken that advice, and I continue to carry that with me, trying to tell the kids, you can always talk to us. I know it's mom and dad, but don't suppress your feelings or your anxiety. I mean, just be honest with one another and how you're feeling. So
one of the things that one of the counselors that I've been to in my years, and he was great, probably one of the best. He said, what we're going to do is we're going to shine a light. We're going to start a little bit like our bright lights we have in the room right now, making our hair look pretty. He said, we're gonna start with it being dim, and we're just going to get it brighter and brighter. And we're going to go one by one and just shine a light on all of those things and those monsters. And that really stuck with me. Like, that's exactly what it is. We can't, the more we suppress it, the darker it gets. Right.
Yeah.
And what happens when things get dark? That's, to me, that's an evil place to be. Right. That's where that explosion comes from. And none of us want to do that. And so that really hit home with me, and that, and I don't know, maybe he just knew that's what I needed to hear. And he didn't say that to anybody else, but that was so important, that we just have to shine a light. We don't have to turn the lights on bright right away, but we have to start somewhere, and that just shine a light on those things. That's so important. So important.
And a couple of things that I'm continuing to be a work in progress is, if you're going to come out and say those things, watch how you say it. Your tone can speak louder than your words. Yeah. And there's been a couple months.
I told you before we started.
I know.
I told you before we started. My tone wasn't great, right? I mean, I get in this zone, and we completely move the room around. The producer that's over here, and she doesn't ever want to be on camera, she said, but she's over here in the corner controlling all these things. And I'm like, where's this? What are we, and I don't mean anything negative by it, but I get in that zone. I don't even realize it. Like, push, push, push. Ken's coming.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
it's not good.
As you're going through the dark time with what's going on with Connor, obviously I know Betsy's beyond frustrated. She's hurt. She's in pain. She's in agony. She's in fear. And those are all real emotions.
Yes.
So there's just been times over the last few weeks where she's kind of getting a little edgy on me. I'm like, honey, I understand what you're saying, and I'll always be here to listen to you, but you got to tone it down just a little bit. You're kind of being a little aggressive. And I've caught myself several times before she says anything. Like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That tone was not right. But here's the message.
Yeah. Totally. It's super important.
Your tongue is such a rudder. It is such a rudder, and it's so powerful, and how it can be a blessing or hateful.
And sometimes I think that we, the emotion that we're in the moment, we allow our tongue to be used in that way, rather than like logically and rationally think about what we're saying and how we're saying it, right?
Yeah.
And you just get in the emotion, and it's not fun, but it's real.
It is. But, you know, sometimes things need to be said. And it got to a point where we just didn't say enough. So I know we're kind of going down a dark road here with him, but and there probably were some preventative things we probably could have seen, but the flags just didn't go up. You know, he's a great kid. He's got a great spirit, a very kind heart, nicest kid, one of the nicest kids I know, not just because he's my son.
Yeah.
But I see some of the people he hangs out with, and it's like, you know, you would hope for better. You know what I mean? And I know you know what I mean.
I do, for sure. I'll tell you though, you talked about planting seeds and things earlier. I've gotten flooded with texts. I gotta tell you, we always have great conversations, so we got to do this again, like in a week or two. Seriously,
yeah.
And it's so important to plant those seeds with everyone, especially our kids. But the thing with the seeds that we don't see when they're this age is that the roots are strong. And they, you'll see that. I just want to give you that. You'll see that. And it might be in 10 years. It might be. Ken.
Oh, please, no. I don't know if I could go another 10 years with this.
I get it.
Oh, man.
My youngest is about to be 22.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was asking what my night looked like, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's right above us. He's
I didn't know that.
He lives upstairs.
Okay.
In the farmhouse.
I thought that was Mr. Furley. Sorry. Little Three's Company reference.
Yeah, that's funny. That's good. I love it.
Sorry.
No, that's perfect. And he's like, "Oh, you got this going on tonight?" I said, "Yeah." He said, honestly, "I'll probably be sleeping by the time you get done." And I'm like, "Wow." He said, I said, "That's just being responsible," because he said something about I'm getting old. And I said, "No, that's just about being responsible." He's got a good job. He's, all those things. And it comes around. You'll find it.
Well, there's so many challenges going on right now in our family. And, being a father, you can't have one individual being better than the other. You have to love them unconditionally, both of them.
Yeah.
And that sometimes could be a challenge because the other one, straight A's, no problems. He's a rule follower. He's like a little mini me. She's a rule breaker.
Sure.
If she was here, she'd go, "Yep, guilty."
Yeah.
I swear.
I had such a fun conversation when she was here too, with Beth. She's great.
Yeah. It's just
get it.
that balance,
mm-hmm.
that daily trying to fight that balance of making sure you're not overly loving on the other one more than the other, because then there's more resentment, and that could fuel even more resentment. And it's just a real challenge right now, the environment that we're in. But you can say, God's in control. He is. But right now, it's just so crazy. It's just, where are you in my time of desperation? I know he's there, but you have that sense of, well, where are you? Why hasn't this situation been fixed by now? This has been going on for 2 years.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yeah. Not our time, dude.
I know. Don't get me crying.
I won't.
Don't.
Hey, thanks for all your comments. I will reply back to, I got some private, that they didn't want to, the first words are, "Don't make this public." So I'll respond back to you guys on that here as soon as I can. So thanks again for joining us tonight on Thought and Perspective. Ken, appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for watching, everyone. Went a little long, but it's all good.
Yeah, we're going to probably not tonight, but we'll post this tomorrow as not a live video, and then we'll put the website links in there as well. So,
just before we wrap it up, I just ask your listeners, your viewers, or whatever, just pray for our family. That's all.
Perfect. Love it.
That's the best thing you can do for anybody.
Yeah.
Prayers don't go unanswered.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's on his time.
Yes. Yes, for sure. See you next time.